Mr. Perlmutter of Colorado for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I was just listening to my good friend from North Carolina, and she and I are friends. We serve on committees together. We agree on a lot of things, but we couldn't disagree more on how we got into this place and what it's going to take to get out. We had an administration and a Republican Congress that said, America, it's okay to give tax cuts to the wealthiest people in the country and have wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and go into debt. Well, it turned our country from a very prosperous nation into one that was borrowing money from all across the globe. Something that can't go on forever. And it finally came home to roost about 6 or 7 months ago, when the banks had trouble, the automakers had trouble, everybody saw our economy just crunch like we hadn't seen it in generations. That's what we're faced with today, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're faced with today, Madam Speaker. So what are we going to do about it? Well, in the past month, we passed the stimulus bill, which is designed to do at least 5 things to get our country back on track. First, it rebuilds our infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, our waterways. It builds a new energy grid so that we can get power throughout our nation in a much cheaper fashion, much more efficient way. Second thing it does, it creates a new energy economy. If we want to keep sending tons and tons of money across the waters to the Middle East, then we should do nothing. Just keep the status quo. That's what our friends on the Republican side of the aisle would like us to do. Just vote no. We like the status quo. Well, if you like the status quo, then don't do anything. But I don't like the status quo. I don't like our money, our hard-earned dollars to the Middle East year after year after year. And we're creating a new energy economy within the stimulus bill. We're helping our states, which have found themselves to have lost lots of revenue over the course of the last 6 months, so they continue to employ teachers and firefighters and policemen and maintenance people all across the board. So we're helping our states continue to do this, provide the services that we so desperately need right now. There are tax cuts within the stimulus bill and within the budget for almost every American, but not the wealthiest 5%, so that each one of us gets a little bit of a break, but we're not giving it to the top people who've had the break for the last 8 years. And the last thing it does is provide assistance to individuals who really have been laid off, who need some assistance with unemployment or with their COBRA health insurance, so that they don't just run into a wall, to get us through this difficult period. Now, President Obama inherited a budget that was $1.3 trillion. It's a lot of money. It's more than any of us can comprehend. In the red. When President Clinton left office, we had a budget surplus. We were paying off the debt, and we got just the opposite when President Obama came into office. Well, what we're doing is 3 things in particular to get us out of this predicament. First is to provide a new energy economy similar to what the stimulus is, but the budget really moves this forward another 4 years. Second, it deals with health care, which is something that everybody's talked about for years, but really little has been done. And for each company out there, for each individual, we've seen our health care costs going up. We have to come at it a whole different way, and that's what the budget proposes. The third thing is to really make sure that our education system, our kindergarten through 12th grade, and then our higher education system is the best in the world, so that we continue to be able to compete globally, so that business comes here and stays here and doesn't go overseas like it has been. It's a very ambitious agenda, but it's one that's going to take us into this century, something that we didn't do. We just lived on borrowed time and borrowed money. And now it's time to move forward, and that's what we're going to do as a nation. And the budget that's been proposed reflects those particular values. At the same time, it maintains for middle America, for 95% of Americans, smaller taxes. But it is a difficult predicament we are in now. This president has provided to the Congress a budget that's going to get us out of this ditch. And it's something that's going to take the work of each and every one of us. And with that, Madam Speaker, I would yield back.
Gentleman's time has expired.